Awesome. I don't know.
Welcome to the Real Dad Fitness Podcast, episode 17. My name is PT.
My name is Jonathan. Welcome, one and all.
Well,
17 episodes in, not bad. One
that's
more
right.
episode and we become legal.
That's
It's
right.
cool.
Are you trying to sleep with us or what? I don't understand. That was a weird beginning. Hey, let me continue the weirdness. I feel a little weird that I'm drinking beer on a fitness podcast, but as part of the whole dad, the balanced lifestyle. We gotta have a beer now and then.
I totally agree. Little yin and little yang. You gotta have a. We don't want to be like the lame Real Dad Fitness, podcast. We actually encourage the occasional, especially beer. That's a nice manly dad drink right there. And look
Sure.
like you were drinking what, a wheat one, maybe a Belgian ale or a Belgian wheat.
I'm drinking a summer shandy from
Oh, summer shandy, Leinenkugel.
Leinenkugel's,
Mhm.
Wisconsin's own.
Yeah, rock on. Shout out to Liney's.
Yeah, got it out of a growler at the gas station. So there we
We don't do that in Colorado, but cool. I like it.
Indeed, gas station growlers. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
So how's it going, Jonathan?
Good.
Tell
It's
me
going
tell me
good.
about life.
Life is good, but full on busy stress mode for me in the great state of Colorado. In fact, I've been going, I think a little too hard, a little push. There's those times in life when you're like, man, feel like I'm not like taking a breath or rested in days or weeks, and I'm at one of those little crossroads. So I was freaking out a little bit tonight. I actually finally got like totally stressed out. So calmed down a little bit, took all my work stuff, got all the necessities done, left at a stopping point, said screw it, the rest of it I'll deal with tomorrow, just to take a break. Had lunch, or not lunch, dinner with my wife, had a couple of moments with my kids, even me out a little bit. But that is a topic I'd love to talk about tonight, is stress. Because, dealing with that is definitely part of life for all of us dads out there, and part of fitness, man, be able to get through that. So I got some ideas on it, but I heard a rumor you had found an article on stress. So what you got? What have you been digging on?
Yeah, this is a nice synergy. I actually titled this episode "Don't Stress." We're here for you. So stress was definitely on my mind as well. All right, so this was a study that was done by it was released by NPR, but it was done by the Harvard. Hold on, my computer's being super slow. It's done by the Harvard School of Public Health, and they released basically 7 charts, they say, that explain stress in America today. So the first one, and this is kind of the least interesting one, is what's the most stressful events you've experienced in the past year? So basically, they just ask people, what's the most stressful event you experienced in the past year? And this one, is pretty easy to you could probably guess most of the stuff. It's, illness and disease, death of a loved one, problems with work, life changes, family issues, stuff like that. So nothing too earth-shattering there, but then it starts to get a little interesting, because then they looked into, okay, the people who say they have a high level of stress, what are the commonalities between these people? And so number one is poor health conditions. That's the number one commonality between people who say they're stressed out. Number 2 would be some sort of disability. Number 3 would be chronic illness. So really, all the top 3 are all about some sort of physical problem or condition. Number 4 is income below $20,000 per year. The 5th one is often experience dangerous situations at work. The next one is number 5 is single parents. So, and then this last one freaked me out a little bit, Jonathan. I'm not gonna lie, because most of those, some of those, I guess you can't avoid being disabled and stuff like that. But so a lot of those, are stuff that we can kind of somewhat avoid at times and things like that. But this one, we're definitely going to be experiencing in the near future. It's about 5 years away from me, maybe about 7 years away from you, and that is, they're the parent of a teenage person. So that is the number 6 most stressful commonality thing about people who are most stressed out is they're a parent of a teen. So there we go. I got that to look forward to.
Wow. I didn't see that coming. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
I know. I was like, what? That is not cool.
Man. We need to add like a call-in feature because I'd love to hear from some dads because basically everyone I hang out with and I'm close to, they're people pretty much in my more or less same scenario where they have young children. I don't have any really close friends that have teenage children, so I'd love to hear from some teenage people with teenage children and be like, man, what is so stressful about that? I mean, I guess I don't know.
Apparently, it's very stressful.
Apparently, very stressful. I don't know. Seems great. You could give them the car and be like, don't come back for 6 hours.
Peace out. See you later.
Peace out, man. I'm gonna go play around at golf.
All right. So the next list talks about common contributors to stress among Americans with a great deal of stress. So people who self-identified as having a lot of stress, they asked them what some of the things that contributed to their stress were. So see if any of these sound familiar to you. Too many responsibilities overall is number one. Number two, problems with finances. Number three is work problems. Number four is health problems. Number five, health problems for people in immediate family. And then last, and this one was surprising again to me, was being unhappy with the way you look. Surprised that made the list of like the top few things.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
But it's kind of crazy to think about. Like health problems is number four after like too many responsibilities and like finances and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy that like having too many responsibilities would be a more stressful thing than like having a debilitating illness of some sort or something like that.
I can kind of see that though, because like your debilitating illness is just like, after a while it becomes something in the background. Like, if you had asthma or something like that, or I don't know if that is severe enough to count as a an illness or a chronic illness or anything like that. But you start to grow. I mean, people just adjust. Eventually you always like adjust to whatever. But too many responsibilities in life or whatever, it's kind of always coming at you. You know what I mean? There's no way to adjust to it, especially if it's stressful. I think that's like I think, and maybe you'll hit it in the next part of the article or something like that. But like, a lot of changing things and a lot of different stressors, or whatever, are really, really what's going to add to that stress level. Because if it's the same thing over and over, you can focus it and conquer it, and kind of like, it just becomes normal to you, and you're not stressed out about it. If you got 1,000 things coming from different directions, that's when you start to get a little more stressed, and especially if you feel like it's 1,000 things coming from different directions, you can never even out from it.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah, I think the next list supports that. So they asked the people who had high levels of stress. They said, what are your top daily causes of stress? So number one is juggling schedules of family members. Number two, this one I was definitely surprised by, hearing about government and politicians. That's your number two. That's your number two.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's stupid. If you're stressing out about that, turn off CNN. Done. Problem solved.
And again, number three is watching, reading, or listening to the news. Again, easily solved.
Yeah. Just don't do that.
Just don't watch the news.
Sure.
And then four is household tasks, and five is running errands. So the daily causes, it seems like, are mostly family related, not work related. Interesting. Let's see. So the last two things I wanted to point out on this are the last two charts. So the second to last one is top responses to stress among Americans with a great deal of stress. Basically, what they said they do when they're more stressed out is sleep less, exercise less, eat less, that kind of stuff, have less sex. And then number 7 is the top activities that do reduce stress. It's basically those same exact things that people like say they don't do as much when they're stressed out.
Right.
Number 1 is spend time with family or friends, which you probably do less when you're stressed out. Number 2 is meditate or pray. Number 3 is spend time outdoors. Number 4 is eat healthfully. Number 5 is exercise. And spend time with a pet is on there too. All right, good deal.
Okay.
But and then have sex. So basically, it was just interesting to me that the correlation was so exact between the things that people do less of when they're stressed and the things that actually reduce stress.
Right. I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I certainly agree with all the de-stressors or whatever, things like that. That like even yesterday, I was really stressed out. I've been whatever, had a lot going on. I had tons of work stuff yesterday. I was trying to juggle a ton of stuff, and then finally got to a point at night, I think after the kids, not just before the kids went to bed, where I actually was like, you know what, now it's workout time for me. I'm going to go get in a really good workout, and I did. It certainly felt decompressed at the end of it. So, I mean, there's like certainly a short-term, advantage of staying physically fit with stress, and I think long-term too. Like your body just deals with it better if you are in better shape, and especially if you're eating better. I think the more I've experimented with quote unquote like really healthy eating habits, and then swung back and forth or whatever in my life to just normal like Americanized eating. Like, yeah, I think your body responds so well to proper nutrition that you're less stressed and deal with stress better, even if you are under a lot of pressures. I don't know. Have you ever experienced that? Are you down with the healthy eating versus staying kind of a little mentally more stable?
Yeah. I think the issue for me and probably a lot of people is just the whole thing that trying to eat healthfully and even exercise to a lesser extent, although that's more part of my daily life now. Both those things are basically add to my stress level in the short term. Like this,
Sure.
like one more thing to think about. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to think about this. I've got so much else going on. I'd way rather not do this, grab pizza or whatever. So it's that like I guess it's the balance of instant gratification of versus the long-term benefit of, and not even long-term, but like a half hour from now when I feel better if I eat healthfully or exercise. But
Sure,
it's
yeah.
definitely hard in the moment when you're like, I'm so stressed out, I don't want to deal with that.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Actually, I don't want to get off topic because there's still a lot more. I think stress deserves a lot of time. But I did have a little subtopic, and this kind of comes into play right here. Is I wanted to touch on snacks and like snacking and like those instantaneous gratification of food.
Right on.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Because I think that's where I've seen a lot of people that'll like stumble on like health and nutrition, and especially people that are like trying to lose a little bit of weight. I think like a huge stumbling block are snacks. Those moments where you're like, damn, I'm really hungry. Dinner's not gonna be ready for 3 hours. I'm gonna just eat whatever's around, and I think that's like a huge falling point for a lot of people. At least certainly part of the problem. And so I wanted to like just kind of throw out a bunch of things that I have around for snacks that are really good, really satisfying snacks, and then also really good for you.
Okay.
First off, definitely like obviously everybody's tastes are different, so take what you like out of this list. But like fresh strawberries, and the only downside to fresh strawberries is they don't stay fresh that long. So like when you get a big old thing of strawberries, they only last for whatever a couple days. So I'm always kind of buying strawberries. But yeah, it's super great snack. Tastes awesome. Fills you up pretty good if you have like 4 big strawberries. It's definitely a lot of food, and really good for you. Super healthy for you on a number of levels. I always keep all natural peanut butter and like apples and or bananas around, because that is also a very good satisfying snack, also healthy for you. Try to steer clear of like the Jif peanut butter, like the stuff where they add like a crap load of sugar and whatnot. Natural peanut butter might seem a little bit weird at first if you're used to eating Jif or whatever, but I love it. I love it way more than like the sugared up peanut butter now, just because I've been eating it for long enough. It's like that. Apples and bananas, super good. Having some trail mix, just some good old raisins and some nuts. You know what I mean? Try and steer clear of the ones that have M&Ms and M's and stuff in them. But that tends to be a great, little snack as opposed to grabbing potato chips or anything else or candy. And I guess another really good one to keep around is some kind of like turkey jerky or something like that. They're a little high in sodium there, so don't make that your like all-time go-to. But certainly, other than the sodium aspect, really a healthy snack, high in protein, uh, and easy. You know, you can keep it around forever. That's the only downfall to the fruits is they're all really good, like grapes too. All that stuff's really good. And I have a friend that'll put his grapes in the freezer, and they're kind of like a little frozen treat. I guess I never really do that, but all that stuff's super awesome snacks, and really good for you. So if you're out there trying to lose weight and you're always having those little snack attacks and whatever, or just whatever, not even necessarily trying to lose weight, but you grab some candy or potato chips or whatever for a snack because you are hungry and you need a little energy, and then you feel worse afterwards. Cross that stuff out and go with those couple options.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah, when we did the whole fitness challenge, I started like eating a crap ton of nuts. I was all about the nuts. I had a can of nuts in my desk at work and a can of nuts at home. I was digging into them left and right. Good times. Although I do notice nut manufacturers, I'm on your game. Whenever I got the mixed nuts or whatever, I would always like you would open it up and you'd have like all the good like the almonds. You'd have your cashews and stuff like that at the top, and then you'd like dig down a little bit and it was like 90% peanuts once you got like a little bit past the top. So I'm on you. I'm on you, mixed nut manufacturers.
Good. Write a little letter of complaint to those guys.
That's right. I'm on you, Mr. Peanut. All right. So stress. Let's talk stress. So, so what do you think of on the stress thing?
Yeah, here's one stress tip, and I don't know, maybe this is just me, but it works really well for me. And I never used it when I was younger, and I do it now. And it seems stupid, but it works really effectively. And that is when I'm really like starting to get a little overwhelmed. I got a ton of crap going on. Like I will take just a minute and literally write a list of everything down. And I go through like everything I can think of. What do I need to get done? What do I have coming? Whatever that I'm all stressing out over. Make a nice big list for it, and then I literally just go through and start crossing stuff off that list. And for some reason, that stupid little list makes it seem so much more manageable. And then every time I get to like slash off one more thing, there's just a satisfying visual sense of seeing that list get smaller and more stuff get crossed off of it. So that's one of my short-term, I'm super stressed out, and because I don't know if you will or other people do, but I'll get to a point where I'm like, oh my god, I don't even know what to do next. I just have too much. And if I hit that point, that's kind of my go-to.
Yeah, no, you don't have to sell me on that for sure. I'm a big nerd for that kind of stuff. Like my favorite app on the iPhone is Wunderlist. It's called, which is just a stupid task management app. It's just like really beautifully displays your task list or whatever, and there's something, and it has a really cool like a little sound effect when you check something off. It just like disappears, a little kind of thing. It's real nice. So I've been a religious user of that for a year or two. But yeah, I'm all about lists. I'm all about making daily lists, weekly lists. I just love lists. I'm a list fad.
Well, there you go. Well, I've come around because I used to think that's just stupid. That was my attitude for a long time when I was young.
Right.
And now I realize, no, that's not stupid. It's actually, there's a lot to it. For some odd reason, it really works.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I always try to, like when I'm having a busy day too, like along those same lines, I always try to, when I feel like I've got a million things to do, I always say, okay, I got to pick three. What are the three things that I have to do like most urgently. What are my three urgent things I have to do today? No matter what else happens, I have to get these three things done, and then I'll put those three at the top of my list, or put like a little star next to them or whatever. And then like even if I don't get everything done, as long as I've got those three done, then I feel like I accomplished my goal or whatever for the day.
Cool, cool. Yeah, speaking of not accomplishing everything every day, uh, I was reading an article too on stress, kind of prepping up for this, but like a huge thing is to not be a perfectionist, because essentially that never gets you anywhere. In fact, from what I've read now, it tends to really hinder you because you won't start projects or won't do things because people get worried that they won't do it perfectly, which is stupid to begin with, because it's too high of a benchmark. So they'll stop them from doing a lot of stuff. But like the cross a couple, be realistic too, like, because that's stressful to think like, oh, I got this huge list of stuff to do, can't do it all. But yeah, I love the idea of picking those things you have to do, and if you don't get to the rest, screw it. You know what? Sometimes there's things that just won't get done. So yeah, pick the important ones and focus on them.
Yeah, there's that's a great point. Like I have a friend who like has told me a bunch of times that he really wants to be a writer and really wants to write this book. But the problem is he has this really specific one book in mind he wants to write. So he's like started this book like 8 times, and like the first chapter is never like the perfect thing that he wants it to be. So instead of like just going through, he always just throws it out and starts over, and it's like, oh god, it's not as perfect as it is in my mind or whatever. And he's never gonna finish that book, and he's never gonna be a writer. Yeah, so you can't be a perfectionist about stuff. That's you get that total paralysis of like things have to be perfect, and then you don't get anything done.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So there's one less thing. Don't worry about being perfect. Throw that stress right out the window. It's never gonna happen. Relax with it. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Another one that I do to talk about those things about stress that are the things you should do to de-stress, and we never do, and then you're stressed. But I think the whole nature aspect is a really, really good de-stressor. At least it is for me. I would like to think it is with most people. Both of us live in great areas because we both have mountains nearby, and we can go hiking. We've got great just natural land that we can go and explore. And man, it's hard. Like for me, especially like when you're climbing up and you get to the top of a mountain, it just kind of puts you in your place. It's very peaceful. You're like, oh, what am I stressing out about all this stupid stuff for? And that's one thing to remember about stress anyway. Like, I mean, obviously there are certain things that you can really stress out for that are real. Like if you are dying of cancer, it's a pretty valid source of stress.
Right. Oh, Jonathan's left the call. We got a slight connection issue there. All right. Well, while Jonathan's coming back, I will share one of my other stress tips. So,
hey, I'm back. I think
you're back. All right.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Welcome back. So it's being on a mountain puts you in your place, and it makes the stresses seem small.
It does, absolutely. It kind of helps you refocus, like on things that are really important. Like, we live in this amazing, beautiful world. It's all around us, and we get so focused on these little things, like money and work and all that stuff, and really, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, honestly, if anybody that's ever lost their job, they don't explode. They keep going. They get a new job. All the important stuff in your life, keeps rolling right along. It doesn't matter. I read this in I think a guitar magazine a long time ago, like in high school, and it always stuck with me, which was, and it really works if you're stressing about one particular task that's really hard to do, or something like that. It doesn't work as well for like a myriad of things, but if you got one thing to do, like just think to yourself, like, what is the absolute
best thing and what is the absolute worst thing that could happen as a result of this. So like if I just totally crush this, what's like literally the best thing that could possibly happen? And if I totally just bomb this, like what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? And probably when you like think about this too, you're gonna be like, well, you know what, like I'm gonna still be living my life and have my family, and it's not gonna be like, even if I screwed this up so bad that like everyone hates me and it's just ridiculous. Like when you actually like think about like what would actually happen if I really screwed this up, it tends to help a little bit. At least helps me.
No, I like that philosophy. Again, it's all about, I think a lot of it's all about perspective. It's all about, it's taking a step back. And yeah, I love that idea. Like almost all those things, because I mean, even if you have something like, what if I lost my job? What if I blew like the most important? Then you would, you'd get a new job. And you'd probably, by this point in life, anybody that's our age and is listening, is at some point or another quit and/or / lost the job or been downsized or whatever. And if you look back, it's like maybe you were probably stressed out about it when it happened, and it all worked out in the end. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Not that bad.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Cool. Any other stress tips for us?
You know what? I'm going to throw it out there too, even though my wife's probably listening in the room. But yeah, I think that the other, like another big one is, you know what? You can never go wrong with having lots of sex. I think that's
sure.
That's something, I can't recall ever there was a night that, you end up having sex with your wife and you're like, man, why'd I do that? What a waste. Right. If that's what you're thinking, there's probably something seriously wrong with you or your relationship. But yeah, no, I think that's like a great stress relief too. Great way, especially because odds are it's something you can do at the end of the day, and a great way to connect to with your spouse, and to again kind of put everything in place, ease your mind, just super good all around. And we should all be doing every night.
That's right.
So,
And if anybody says any different, they can. We've got the science of Harvard backing us up that's a good.
That's right. So. Harvard, darn it! You can't argue with those people. They're brilliant.
Literally not argue with Harvard. It's impossible. Nice, cool.
Yeah.
So any takeaways? What are we that you're gonna put into place this week or anything like that to help yourself de-stress?
I think I'm going to just go with the two takeaways will be lots of lists because it's going to be a crazy week again, and definitely keep the big picture in mind. You know what I mean? That all the stuff is, like you said, if you really, really focus, like I said, the one idea of like, oh, if I really screw this up, could I lose my job? And that's kind of a big thing. But I bet if I focus and actually really think about that with each and everything that's stressing me out, I'll be like, oh, if this goes great, it'll be okay. If it goes horrible, it won't be that big of a deal.
Right.
So, anything you're going to take away?
Lots of sex.
There you go. Good one. Probably the best one to take.
Awesome. Good times. Hey, let's talk about lightning. Can we bring it back to the lightning for a minute?
Is it Colorado Lightning?
It is Colorado Lightning. So. So we all know that ultra marathoners are tough. We know that ultra marathoning is a tough thing, and in your very own Colorado, there's a ultra marathon called the Hard Rock 100, which is known as one of the tougher ultra marathons, and just finishing it is an accomplishment. But this past weekend, the third place finisher had a little bonus because during the race he was struck by lightning, and then he continued the race and got third place in a 100-mile race. So,
oh my gosh, that guy's really tough.
Good job to him. He was. Let's see if I could find the quote. He was let's see. He said that he and his pacer were caught in a thunderstorm beyond the 60-mile aid station as they approached the highest point of the 100-mile course, which is the 14,000-foot Handy's Peak. He said there's nothing up there, no place to hide, no rocks, no trees, nothing. We really didn't have much of a choice. We wanted to get over the peak as soon as we could and get out of there. But as they were crossing, lightning struck him in the head. He was wearing like a helmet with a light on it or whatever because it was in the middle of the night, and he got struck by lightning in the head. He said the bolt shorted out his headlamp, and as Pacer felt the electricity, the two regrouped and quickly raced down the mountain. So good job, and he got third place. So.
Wow. Well, that's certainly
job, sir.
That was not the lightning story I thought you were going to tell. That is amazing.
Yeah, the record for the course was set by the first place person, but I think he should get some special award.
Yeah, you should totally get a bonus. You should get like 10 minutes knocked off your time just for getting struck by lightning.
Absolutely. What was the story you were thinking of?
Wow. Well, actually, there's two in Rocky Mountain National Park, which is a place I love. Two fatal lightning strikes 2 days in a row, one on Friday, one on Saturday this week in Colorado. And
wow.
Yeah, so much more morbid than your story, but
Jeez.
yeah, and like I can see, and both of them I know the area where they got struck by lightning, and I've actually like been up in there when a storm is blown in, and it is the craziest thing. 'Cause for any of you that don't know Rocky Mountain National Park, one, go there because it's amazing. Two, it's just way, way, way up. It's in the mountains, and you're at extremely high elevations. It's beautiful, but like that pass and like that area, storms roll in like it's unbelievable. I remember there was one time we were out just up at one of the lookouts, and actually I think it's the same lookout where the people got struck by lightning, and it was, I don't know, like 75-ish, something like that. And we could see a storm coming in, and it was kind of like cool because you get to watch the actual storm blow in. It was moving really fast. And it went from 75, and it started to sprinkle rain, and the temperature dropped extremely fast. We were at a lookout, so we weren't too far from the car, so we got back to the car, got in it. It started snowing. So we went from 75 to actually snowing. We waited it out for about 15, 20 minutes, and got out of the car, and I would say another 15, 20 minutes, it was 75 degrees. So that's like how fast and hard and crazy the weather can change up there. But yeah, and apparently if the storms are rolling in, you should get in your car or whatever, because it will hit you with lightning.
Yeah, crazy.
So yeah, but again, if you're in the mood for a great hike, they've got them all over Rocky Mountain National Park, and there's amazing herds of elk that go around there, and yeah, people from all over the world come see it, so you should too.
Cool. I'm from all over the world.
Yeah.
I'm from in the world, so.
Yeah, there you go. Then you qualify.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Any other topics to discuss this fine day?
Yeah, I was going to throw one more out, even though we're probably about timed out. But okay, so I was thinking about morning versus night workouts. Since we may as well talk a little bit about fitness on our
I guess
our podcast, you can toss it in there. But yeah, so morning versus night workouts. What one do you like better? What do you go with? Given the choice.
I like morning workouts. I had a boss who he was a big track and field guy. He ran the 100-meter dash, and he almost qualified for the Olympics.
Wow.
Man, I'm an idiot because I can't remember the name of the really famous guy who runs the 100 meters. But apparently my boss
Usain Bolt.
He told me, what's that?
Usain Bolt.
No, it was a little bit older of a guy, maybe 10 years ago guy.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer, maybe 15 years ago.
But
anyway, there's a famous guy, and my boss raced him, my former boss. But anyway, and he lost to him. He said he was really fast. But anyway, this boss was big, obviously super big on fitness. But the thing he always talked about all the time is he was like, I work out every day, and I work out really hard every day, and I love to do it in the morning because as soon as my workout's done, I know that the hardest part of my day is over, and the rest of it's easy. I can just any challenge I come against during the rest of the day, I can just remember that I've already completed this really hard workout, the hardest part of my day, and I can just it just kind of gives me confidence to continue on throughout my day. So I kind of like that philosophy, and I don't always work out in the morning, but I do prefer it, I'd say, when I can. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm torn. Like almost always, like except for possibly the weekends, I'll do night workouts now, mostly because of my wife likes to get up and go to CrossFit in the morning, and so that's early, like 5:30 in the morning, and so one of us has to stay home with the kids during that time period, and then the kids get up early and I'm doing the morning routine. So mornings are pretty much out for me, or have been for the last several years, really, minus the weekends. But I mean, like, I think I'm okay with that. Like, I think I really do prefer a night workout. The only problem is at least for me, I'm more likely to skip night workouts than morning workouts. Because there's nothing stopping you in the morning, especially if you do it first thing when you roll out of bed.
Right.
You've already carved out that time. You can't miss it. And night, occasionally you're just like, oh, I'm going to do one more thing of work or one more whatever, or somebody comes over and stops by, or you end up having a drink after work or whatever. There's a million things that can essentially go wrong and unplanned.
Right.
The other nice thing about morning workouts, and this might be old school fitness knowledge, so who knows if things have changed since then, but there's like kind of the rule of fasting that when you wake up in the morning, you've been fasting all night long, and when you can't go straight to working out, but if you have just a small, like a bagel, half a bagel or whatever, a banana or something like that, something to get your metabolism going, your body can really kick in and burn, like more stored fat in the mornings than at night, where you have a lot more actual, food and calories floating around your system that you can pull on, quick sugars. In morning, you're kind of getting to the, cutting to the chase a little bit faster to draw on those stored fats. So you get that added bonus. So, yeah, I don't know. Probably morning workouts are the way to go, but...
Nice. There's no wrong way to do it.
There's no wrong. Whatever you guys like. Whatever you prefer out there. There's no bad workout time. You know what I mean? If you're getting some exercise every day, you're doing it right.
That's right. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you're ready to work out, go for it.
Yeah, as long as you can catch up on sleep sometime.
Yeah, just go back to bed after the workout. It's all good.
There you go.
Well, cool. All right, cool. I think that'll wrap us up for today. Unless you have anything else urgent.
That's it. I'm good. I'm done.
All right, cool. Head over to RealDadFitness.com. I got a new article I wrote on happiness and the mental game of working out, the mental perception of working out. So check that out. And you got your full life challenge review thing. Did you finish that? Yeah.
I do. It's not quite finished yet. I'm a little behind on it. I'm probably only a little over halfway done with it. But I want it to be good. I was being too much of a perfectionist. But I was trying to write it, and I just couldn't quite get it right. So whatever. I'll get it out soon or later. Sweet. I hope.
You'll get it out before this podcast airs, I'm sure.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so that'll do it for now. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and we will talk to you next time. This is PT. I gotta run.
All right, stay real, stay fit, dads. We'll see you later.